Welcome to Hero Villains. In your opinion, Sentry versus Doomsday. There are heroes born from hope, and there are monsters forged from destruction. What happens when you move beyond the ordinary clashes of good and evil and place on the scales two unstoppable engines of annihilation, two paradoxes of immortality, two entities for whom death is nothing more than a distant luxury? On one side stands the perfect golden guardian, the one who wields the power of a million exploding suns, who tore apart Ares, the god of war, and held his own against World War Hulk. That is Sentry. On the other side stands the ultimate evolutionary nightmare, the most terrifying genetic weapon of ancient Krypton, the creature who killed Superman and adapts to every form of destruction. That is Doomsday. Sentry carries within him boundless power, yet also harbors within his mind a dark phantom known as the Void. Doomsday carries within him endless adaptation, turning every defeat into evolution. When the absolute power of a million suns collides with the absolute survival evolution forged through millions of deaths, who will be the last one standing?
Sentry, you must understand that you are not looking at a man. You are looking at a project, a cosmic mistake by the name of Robert Reynolds. He is not a mutant, not a god, and not an alien. He is an addict, a failure, a man who broke into a laboratory and drank a serum created by the greatest scientific minds, designed to recreate the super soldier serum that gave birth to Captain America. But that serum went further by billions of times over. It did not simply amplify muscle. It connected Robert Reynolds to another dimension, a reality where power is infinite. In that moment, he was no longer a human being. He became Sentry, and at that very same moment, twin to the birth of light, a shadow was also conceived from the abyss of his mind. Void. The more Sentry uses his power, the stronger Void grows. That is his curse. He is a god shackled by his own unstable mind, a fragile soul trapped inside the body of an omnipotent being. And imagine waking up one day and realizing you can do anything. You do not need to eat, you do not need to breathe, you can fly straight through the stars, you can hear cries for help from the other side of the world. That is the life of Sentry. But with it comes absolute terror, because he knows there is a monster living inside him, a destructive entity he calls the Void, waiting and ready to break free. He has erased the entire world's memory of his own existence multiple times, all just to keep Void imprisoned. He is the most powerful hero on Earth, the one everyone forgets, and the greatest threat that he himself must keep under control every single second of every single day. In the Marvel Universe, Sentry is a close friend of Hulk, a being who has flown alongside Silver Surfer across the galaxy, and one whom even Reed Richards must be cautious around. He is not simply powerful, he is the very definition of omnipotence held in check by madness. Sentry possesses the power of a god, or more accurately, of an entity that surpasses gods entirely. The power of Sentry. He is one of the most physically powerful beings ever to exist in the Marvel Universe. His strength is commonly described as the power of a million exploding suns, a metaphor suggesting it is virtually limitless. The clearest and most terrifying proof of this is the moment he tore Ares, the god of war of Olympus, apart with his bare hands during the siege event. Keep in mind that Ares is a true deity, immortal and physically on par with Thor. For Sentry, destroying a god was as simple as tearing a sheet of paper. During the World War Hulk event, when Hulk reached his absolute peak of rage and shattered the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four, Sentry alone was the one who could match him blow for blow and fight back on equal terms. Their battle leveled countless city blocks and ended only when both reverted to their human forms, utterly drained, a feat no other being on Earth could achieve at that time. Sentry's body is nearly impervious to all forms of conventional physical and energy-based attacks. He has withstood blows from Hulk, energy blasts from cosmic entities, and even molecular disintegration without suffering any meaningful harm. However, the most terrifying aspect of Sentry's durability is his ability to regenerate at the molecular level. He is immortal. This was proven in a chilling fashion during Siege when Thor drove Mjolnir straight through his chest, after which Iron Man piloted a helicarrier directly into him, and Thor continued striking him with divine lightning until his body was burned to ash and vanished entirely. But he did not die. Only a few years later, he reconstituted himself from nothing, proving that his existence is bound by laws that far transcend biological death. His only Achilles heel lies purely in the psychological realm, and only attacks targeting his mind or entities of an extraordinarily exceptional nature could ever hope to end him permanently. And do not forget, he himself is the Void. Sentry. He possesses the ability to manipulate reality at the molecular level. He does not merely fly at supersonic speeds, he can teleport instantaneously. He is not simply strong, he can unleash destructive energy from his hands and eyes. He has super senses that allow him to hear everything happening across the entire Earth. He can generate energy fields, manipulate light, and most significantly, he can control the very darkness within his own soul in the form of the Void. The Void is a part of Sentry, a destructive entity taking the shape of a black shadow with tendrils, whose power is even more terrifying than Sentry himself in his normal state. In his Void form, he can warp reality, manipulate fear, and slaughter countless living beings without a shred of mercy. He is a true world-destroying entity, not merely through his fists, but through the sheer fact of his own existence.
I sincerely hope you will subscribe to the channel. It would mean a great deal to us, and you are the most wonderful person. Thank you so very much.
If Sentry is a mistake of science and a victim of his own mind, then Doomsday is the most brutal product of madness itself. He is not a mindless monster. He is the pinnacle of survival evolution, conceived in the hell of ancient Krypton. His birth name was the Ultimate. Thousands of years ago, on a savage and deadly Krypton, a mad scientist named Bertrand carried out a monstrous experiment. He created an infant and dropped it into the most hostile environment on the planet, where it would die instantly. Bertrand then collected the surviving genetic remnants, cloned it, and dropped it again into an even deadlier environment. This cycle of born, die, resurrect, adapt repeated itself thousands upon tens of thousands of times. Every death was a lesson. With every resurrection, the infant's body evolved, developing resistance to the very thing that had killed it. It grew resistant to fire, resistant to frost, resistant to poison. Whatever predator killed it, the next time it would kill that predator in return and absorb their strength. Finally, having evolved to its absolute peak, the creature carried within itself an infinite hatred toward all living things, especially the one who had created it. It killed Bertrand and turned all of ancient Krypton into a wasteland before being cast out into the universe. Doomsday does not need to eat, does not need to sleep, does not need to rest. His sole purpose for existing is destruction. He is the Evolutionary Nightmare, a perfect killing machine, one where every defeat does not weaken him but only makes him stronger and more immune than before. He swept through the entire Justice League before coming face to face with Superman, and in that fateful battle, he did the unthinkable. He killed Superman with his bare hands. The two traded devastating blows, tearing apart the entire city of Metropolis, and ultimately both fell. But the difference was that Superman died from his wounds, while Doomsday, true to his nature, resurrected afterward, stronger and completely immune to every attack Superman had used against him. He is not a devil. He has no agenda. He is pure destruction. In his base state, Doomsday already matched Superman in raw power. He could shatter Green Lantern energy constructs with his bare hands and endure Superman's continent-shaking punches and heat vision without flinching. But his true power does not lie in his base state. It lies in his ability to adapt instantaneously. If an attack breaks his bones, they grow back thicker and sharper, turning into weapons. If you burn him with fire, his skin develops a fire-resistant layer. If you punch him hard enough, his body automatically increases muscle density to absorb the impact. He is an unsolvable equation for anyone who relies solely on pure physical force. Evolutionary adaptation. This is the key. This is not simple regeneration like Wolverine. This is resurrection with an upgrade. Throughout history, Doomsday has evolved to resist everything that has ever killed him. He developed the ability to fire bone spikes to counter ranged enemies after being shot down from the air by a Green Lantern. He developed immunity to entropy weapons, weapons of apocalyptic destruction, after being obliterated by Imperiex. The pinnacle came when he evolved intelligence and achieved a state known as Godly Doomsday, a version capable of thinking, planning, and even unleashing a Doomsday plague across entire planets. He once once adapted to being erased from the timeline entirely, reconstructing himself from the memories of living beings. This means that even if you erase his very existence, he can still find his way back. Every time he is defeated, he becomes immune to the exact method used to defeat him. Interestingly, Doomsday has no inherent weakness the way Superman does. He does not fear kryptonite. He is not affected by magic any more than any other creature. He is a pure biological machine, one where the only weakness that ever exists disappears in the moment before his body patches it with a new upgrade. This is one of the most unpredictable battles ever conceived. We are placing our bets on a war between infinite power and infinite adaptation. Two entities, needing no provocation, hurling themselves at each other with everything they have. Sentry, with physical strength of the absolute highest order, would likely dominate in the opening moments. A punch carrying the force of a million suns would tear through Doomsday's flesh, shatter his bone spikes, and even punch straight through his body. Remember, Sentry tore Ares in half. A strike delivered with that same killing intent, channeling every ounce of his energy, could absolutely inflict catastrophic damage on Doomsday, far beyond anything Superman ever managed. But that is precisely the moment Doomsday begins to turn the tide. With every wound, every drop of blood that hits the ground, Doomsday's body immediately launches into a process of analysis and adaptation. The muscle tissue surrounding each wound restructures itself to withstand the same level of pressure. If Sentry continues using the same degree of force, Doomsday's body will thicken, his bone plates redistributing themselves to absorb the impact. By the 10th punch, the 20th punch, they will begin to feel like nothing at all. This is not speculation. This is exactly how Doomsday has defeated countless enemies who are stronger than him. He is the undisputed master of attrition warfare. Sentry is not a seasoned warrior. He is a man carrying the power of God but the mind of an unstable human being. He tends to fight through instinct and sheer overwhelming force. Doomsday, by contrast, is a killing machine whose combat instincts have been sharpened through millions of cycles of dying and coming back to life. He has no hesitation, no fear. He attacks relentlessly, without pause, driven by one singular purpose. Robert Reynolds' psychological instability is his single greatest fatal weakness. When forced to face an enemy that knows no fear and cannot be easily finished off, Sentry's frustration and rage will mount, and that is precisely the opening through which Void will rise. When physical force proves useless, Sentry will shift to energy-based attacks. He can unleash torrents of destructive energy from his hands and eye. But Doomsday has faced and adapted to forms of energy far more terrifying than that. He was once killed by Radiant, a being of pure light, and upon resurrection, he developed the ability to absorb and reflect energy attacks back at their source. This demonstrates that Doomsday's adaptation is not limited to the physical domain, but extends across the entire energy spectrum. When Sentry loses control, Void emerges. Void is not merely a muscular monster. Void is an entity that manipulates reality itself. Void can assault the mind, flooding it with primal fear. But does Doomsday even have a mind worth attacking? He was born from pure pain and pure hatred. He does not possess the complex fears that human beings carry. Furthermore, in his god Doomsday form, he developed a superior intellect capable of resisting mental manipulation at a cosmic level. Void could tear Doomsday apart with its dark tendrils, much as it tore Ares apart, but that leads directly into a deadly loop. The more Doomsday is destroyed, the more he evolves to become immune to that very destruction. Void is a part of Robert, and Robert is an organic being with an unstable psyche. Doomsday, meanwhile, is the absolute pinnacle of biological adaptation. The battle would transform into a war between realities themselves. Sentry, consumed by the madness of Void, would begin bending space and time, erasing the matter surrounding Doomsday at the molecular level. He would attempt to wipe Doomsday out of existence entirely. This is an attack that transcends the physical realm entirely, striking directly at the very existence of the opponent. But history has already proven that Doomsday can survive this. He was once erased by Darkseid's Omega Beams and still came back. He was once obliterated by Imperiex, an entity representing entropy itself, and still resurrected, this time with the ability to resist the very destructive force of the universe. If Void erases Doomsday from the timeline, Doomsday's adaptive genome will register the event of being erased from reality, and he will reconstruct himself from an anchor point within space and time, returning completely immune to reality reality erasure. He has done this before. He came back from memory itself. This is a battle that Sentry will lose, but not because he is weak. He loses because the very nature of this conflict is a paradox. Sentry, as Robert Reynolds, is an entity that requires willpower and focus in order to fight. He is constrained by a human psychology. He needs to want to fight, and he can be broken mentally when confronted with an enemy that knows no fear and cannot be subdued. Doomsday requires no willpower. He is a force of nature, an evolutionary loop with no end. Every attack Sentry delivers, no matter how devastating, is nothing more than input data fed into that evolutionary machine. The conclusion of this battle would unfold over hours, perhaps even days of fighting. Sentry and Void would kill Doomsday again and again. They would tear him apart, incinerate him, erase him from reality. But each time, Doomsday would rise again, with thicker skin, with sharper spikes, and completely immune to whatever had just killed him. At a certain point, every attack Sentry launches will become utterly useless. The energy of a million suns will feel like nothing more than a passing breeze against a hide that has evolved specifically to absorb that very energy. The reality destruction of Void will be neutralized by Doomsday's biological temporal defense system. Meanwhile, Robert Reynolds, after hours of fighting an enemy that knows no exhaustion, will begin to break down. Not physically, for his power is limitless, but mentally. The madness will close in and consume him entirely. The frustration of being unable to finish his opponent will shatter his already fragile mind. And in that moment of weakness, Doomsday, now fully adapted to the energy of Sentry, will deliver the finishing blow. Doomsday wins. He will not erase Sentry permanently, for Sentry is also immortal, but he will crush the fighting will of Robert Reynolds. He will reduce Sentry to a psychologically broken entity, a flame that has gone out despite still having fuel. At that point, Doomsday will stand upon the battlefield and let out a single dry roar of victory, while Robert Reynolds curls into a corner of his own mind, leaving both the darkness of Void and the light of Sentry equally meaningless. Doomsday is not merely a destroyer. He is the end of all evolution, a place where the last one standing is not the strongest, but the one who simply cannot be stopped. And that is our analysis of the battle between the man with the power of a million suns and the endlessly evolving machine of destruction. Could Void find a way to destroy the soul of Doomsday, the one thing even death itself cannot reach? Or could Robert Reynolds find
Let us know your thoughts by leaving a comment down below. Sentry or Doomsday? If you enjoy breakdowns this epic and dramatic, do not forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single cosmic battle ahead. And remember to follow us. Thank you all for watching, and we will see each other again in the next brutal battle to come.